Welcome back to Rock Reacts. It's Jim here. I'm a vocal coach and a professional singer, and I love to analyze vocals, right? So I got a lot of requests for the Big Push because there's some amazing vocals in this. Apparently there's really, really good harmonies. This song was written by Goran, who I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It was written by Goran, who is, I think, usually the bass player in the Big Push, and I'm not really sure because they all jump around, and it's kind of like, there's I guess it's just, you just think of them just as musicians instead of like one is doing the one thing, the one role or whatever. We do have to check in with the dog because, yes, there she is sleeping. Yeah, okay. Always. She's not always sleeping, just when I'm doing these, when I'm working, and then when I'm not working, when I want to rest, she wants to play. Anyway, let's get into this.
Do you see with the eyes in your head? Pitiful struggle, or are you content?
Okay, so I wasn't expecting this kind of a thing. Anything that I've seen from them has been kind of, rockin', reggae, kind of sort of stuff like that. This is kind of really a sort of medieval kind of sounding thing, and the fact it's in a big cathedral kind of certainly helps with that image of this. But anyway, I can see like kind of this being sung like in the medieval days, like when, knights are in shining armor on white horses.
Fear and anger so garishly close, resignation and ignorance tied up in bows.
It's nice to see this kind of a little bit like, okay, so Ren is singing the higher, and it's nice to see that, kind of, Ren is like this. He's one of these guys. There's another artist who that theory kind of reminds me of Ali Sherlock, who's this. Anyway, but they tend to kind of, this rising tide lifts all ships kind of things. They tend to get other people involved, and I mean the fact that it's that kind of it's a band thing. The Big Push is like a band. It's not Ren, and I know that like people are really guilty of kind of like putting Ren up on this pedestal, and then kind of the other guys are like, yeah, just whatever. But I think a lot of people are really they really appreciate the other musicians, and the fact that Ren is kind of like he'll step back and this is Goran's song. He wrote the song and he's singing the main melody line, and Ren's kind of taking a bit of a side step, not a backseat, but a side step, because then you have Romain over here who doesn't appear to be singing yet. Oh, I just when I said that, though, I was actually this 2-part harmony, and then just when I said that, Romain kicks in. This is just a 2. So tied up in bows, and then you've got Ren singing tied up in bows. So like it's got tied up in bows, tied up in bows, tied up in bows. It's not tied up in no, it's not an octave. It's like a fifth or something like that. But anyway, and then so Romain sneaks in here. Joke had a punchline, the people all around, roasting to glasses, and no one is saying. So it sounds like Romain is on the, no one is saying. So you got the, and then Ren is up on the, toast and the lasses, and then Romain is in the toast and the lassen. It's really good 3-part harmony, and like so. Thank you for whoever. Well, so many people requested this.
A big waltzing blindfold, we are what we play. We are what we play.
Oh, beautiful.
Nothing is safe. What can he hear with his ears and his hands? Her silently weeping, his head in the sand. Patiently lurking in water and wine, he'll drown by her tears, choke on his time.
It's got a really good voice. Goran's a very, very kind of a good, like kind of a chest, a full voice. Like it's quite. So when he's singing in that, and like people think of that kind of sort of a mixed voice thing, but he does have a good, powerful mix. So that mix is between the, your chest voice and then your head voice, and he's in that. He's in that kind of little mid range there, but he's good power in it, which is good. Great singer. Choke on his time, forsaken and taken too soon for murdering old mother. We dance on the moon, deaf to the thunder that silently cracks. Oh, I love this. Like, Goran is just really kind of like soaring in there and just driving the song forward. And then you've got these two vocals in the back, these guys harmonizing, and they're really adding these kind of beautiful little swells in here as well. Too soon for murdering old mother, we dance on the moon, deaf to the thunder that silently. Look at the dance on the moon, dance on the moon. Brilliant! Oh, it's so nice, and like the way they selected the harmonies is beautiful as well, because they're not just that, I suppose, not kind of a normal. It's not that it's not a normal harmony, but it's not just a kind of standard kind of, oh, well, we do these and that's what it's going to be, and just really boring. It's quite interesting. Well, holding our breath until her collapse. Oh, that was insane. I gotta hear that again. Oh. That's cool, that instrument. I can't remember what the name of that is, but that is actually used it's used in a Gorillaz song. I just saw somebody do this kind of breakdown of all the different sounds that are in this particular. It's in Clint Eastwood, and you can hear that in there. And I can't think of the actual part that it's playing in there, but that they actually used one of those in that song. And I got to go back to this. That's so executed flawlessly. This. And they're all just like so in sync, and like it's just the timing of that is perfect. Excellent. It's a difficult song to play on the guitar as well. And this. That's so cool. It reminds me of the kind of, just like that sound of like the kind of the accordion or whatever, like a kind of a French sort of, flowing kind of a tune, that's sort of, when you think of like French, like for me anyway, I think of like something like that kind of a sound, something being played on the accordion instead. But you have this medieval kind of harmony with this kind of a folky ding 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 ding, kind of, and then you've got this sort of a French-ish sounding. I can't remember what the name is. Feel with your heart in your chest. Some few thousand years could soon come to rest. Do you feel the butcher, the bullet that pours with corkscrewing chaos and mighty roar? What do you feel with your heart in your chest?
some few thousand years could soon come to rest.
On that, really just kind of lifting the song up with this more powerful kind of increase in the volume and that chest resonance of his voice.
On the shoulders of man and his bag full of bombs, bell tolling destruction on vinyl song.
Oh, interesting. Like, okay, so that's Romain has a very good, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Goran and Romain. I don't never heard anybody pronounce them, so they're odd names for me. Jim is a pretty normal standard name. But growing up in Ohio, I ain't had no name like that. Anyway, when he's
on the shoulders of man and his bag full of bombs, bell tolling destruction on vinyl song.
That on telling destruction of, he's really on telling really lifting up into this powerful chest resonance, kind of this, pushing that, using his support to lift up into that. And then Romain comes in with this
on the shoulders of man and his bag full of bombs, bell tolling destruction on vinyl song. Bell tolling destruction on vinyl song. Bell tolling destruction on vinyl song.
Oh, lovely. That's that kind of a circular thing, if you've ever done that, where you kind of say, you do, like we did this in choir when I was a kid. It's like you split the class into three, and this one's row, row, row your boat, and then you pick the next section, row, row, row your boat, and then the next row. Okay, so you can do that yourselves right now. Just get three of your friends and do that together. But that's this kind of circular kind of melody.
Destruction on vinyl song. Bell tolling destruction on vinyl song.
It's a twist. Wow. I want to go back real quick to this part here, specifically because this is something that you can see happening with Ren. This is very important for singing. Is watch when he's on. So you can see he's lifting up his shoulders. And a lot of vocal coaches talk about, don't lift your shoulders while you're singing. What sometimes singers will do that. More oftentimes than not, singers will do this. What it does is it lifts weight up off of your rib cage to allow your ribs to expand, and then your diaphragm will flatten. And this would sing from the diaphragm. You probably heard all this sort of stuff, but that's what's happening. If you take your shoulders up, you extend your ribs out to the sides, then your diaphragm flattens. But normally, what your diaphragm does is it flattens and sucks air into your lungs. But if you expand your ribs out to the side, your diaphragm will flatten as a matter of doing that. So a lot of singers will lift their shoulders up. That's to take the weight off of the ribs to allow your diaphragm to flatten, and helps that singing. And it helps to what classical singers will talk about is singing on the breath. It's also a classical term, inhalare la voce, which is inhale the voice. Anyway, I study a lot of classical techniques, and that's part of that. So there, free vocal lesson for you. Am I right with the French thing like that, or is that that's what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that. Let me know in the comments below if I'm just out of my mind or whatever. Which I probably am anyway. But I hope you guys enjoyed that, going on that little journey with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Rock Reacts. Thanks for watching. Bye.